Don't have an action separate, but one have gap. Anyway, let's move this to order. Hello, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Madison Board of Education and Finance Committee meeting to order. It is about 5:33. And all our pastors. Follow behind us all. So purpose of tonight's meeting. Oh, close that. We just started. Sorry. Just got my ramble listening short. We have 3 items on the agenda. We'd like to discuss the 2023-24 budget closeout, then discuss the 24-25 budget reductions, and thirdly discuss future budget considerations kind of in a general high level way, and then we'll ask the public comment. So that's my for Dr. Stacy.
Yes, thank you, Galen. And so for the budget closeout, I'm going to turn it over to Stacy, and then we're gonna for item 2 and 3, we'll talk more about the bigger part that Stacy's going to share. All right.
Okay, so we started talking at our last meeting about potential deficits, especially with special ed. So we're continuing to monitor that. I know we put the letter in on the town, to the town. I believe it's going to go to the Board of Selectmen at their next meeting at the end of the month. Next week, and then it would go to the Board of Finance at their main meeting. Request to put in the $226,000 return, and then to keep that out to help with our special ed deficit. At this point, that deficit is looking higher than that $206,000. Monitor it, but we're looking for funds within to try to find line transfers to cover the additional deficit. At the end of the year, we had a little bit of HR savings. We're not gonna have enough to cover that deficit, but we're monitoring those accounts, watching out for substitutes towards the end of the year. And then leaving without pay, so we may have a little bit of money there to cover the deficit along those items. In addition to salaries, you have your bureau taxes, so whatever those savings are, figure 7.65%, there should be some savings in that line as well. We also did reach out to the buildings. We asked everybody to look in their line items. They don't have big amounts of individual things, so we did ask everybody to share with us that they can find any savings within. We also talked to them about freezing accounts for the beginning of May. So I believe at the end of next week, we're looking to stop spending so that we can get a better handle on any potential available. When we say freeze accounts, I mean, they should encumber everything through the end of the school year, but let's just think ahead and get that done next week so that we can plan to see the potential funds will have available. What else? In addition to that, in the special ed, we also are seeing a deficit in athletics. We all knew that was coming. We were taking care of that for next fiscal year, but knowing that enrollment is down, but we still have the transportation expenditures, we're looking to cover that deficit as well. So we're going to continue to monitor, keep everybody, on their toes as far as getting us potential balances, and hopefully have a more fine-tuned number for you for an update anyway at the next meetings.
Any questions?
So got a little bit more on 2 items. One that special ed, as the board is, the committee is aware from the letter we sent. It's big part 18 to 22-year-old program, the transition program based on a change in law that we did not know at the point we did our budget for this year, so that was unexpected. And then additional outplacements for costs that have risen. couple students we hope to bring back by this point, and it's probably not gonna happen until next year, so that was some months of costs that we're not anticipating. So it is a little bit more than we experienced in the past, but we're still trending, assuming the refund of the money from Board of Finance ultimately, or slightly. We should be running based on what we're trending down. As always, has a really good handle on that, and on a positive note, Gail was able to contribute funds towards that deficit, which is not usually the case, but she did not put as much curriculum this year, and so there was less cost in that, not have as much planned for June as typical. So that's about 50 to 60,000. You know, and identify, you know, as Lisa said, results funds with school accounts, typically funds with school accounts because we can freeze them before this school. So, you know, we'll do our best. We know the board would like us to come in as close to zero because we have all the needs that we do, especially with the reorg coming up in 2025. But we do expect, and certainly that's how we operate it. Conservative, but you know, I think we have a good handle on that. But we expect there will be money at the end in terms of the town. You know, if you think about the percentage of the entire budget, it's very small, very good percentage. So it happens in every town in the state, except for the ones that make the paper for not, you know, returning funds and having to ask for more funds. So we just don't want to be in that place. To make the committee also feel a little bit more comfortable, we still have that special ed reserve, which certainly those costs that Stacy has shared, I talked about, would be eligible for that if we had to get to that point. Our hope is not to happen. And we will, for items 1 and 2, we will have, you know, a detailed sheet for the next finance.
All right, thank you. Thank you. All right. Football thing.
Sure. You know, as we stand right now that we kept the item on the agenda because we knew that you know, the Board of Finance would take its official action and set the referendum date for May 14th, just last week. And this was an item just to kind of keep committee updated on where we stand with the $240,000 reduction. We had identified a $200,000 reduction, which the item has been shared with the board. Just an update on that. We are still hopeful that the bands uniforms will be. They certainly are eligible for ARPA funds, but then hoping there's ARPA funds available to fund that. We're targeting more in the lines of $75,000 to $80,000 in that as we've gotten closer to being able to you know, issue a PO on that. Number of students coming up, and you know, that Mr. Gage and Mr. Salisbury this a couple of times to know exactly where we stand. So $75,000 to $80,000. I've also considering the design. The band would like the new, potentially new plot print. You know, there's still a lot of work to happen on that. So it may be something we'll have to issue a PO and wait for the official symbol to go on the uniform. So it's not likely that it will happen for this football season, but certainly, you know, would help to get them, you know, in the fall, and then we can utilize it as soon as possible by Thanksgiving, and then another events after that. So that's the 200,000 where that stood. The other 40,000, we have continued our work with the state on the reading waiver. We'll have another discussion coming up with the state. Continue to, you know, make our best effort to get a waiver approved or the program approved by the state. And so with that, Gail also feels that she can contribute some of those funds that we had identified for the reading waiver. Start off at a $600,000 discussion. We ended up proposing a little over 100,000 or 4,000 it was, and we're able to reduce some additional funds if you want to identify that, and also, we're continuing to look at where we stand for next year. We've got a, retirement, today, so there may be other areas that, to reduce that if we want to ensure that we can go to the, things change on the anything else. We have not received any change in insurance as we shared. We didn't expect health insurance to change, and it doesn't look like it's going to change. And there's no news except retirements. Again, that is an area that typically what we've done was there's different direction as we waited for the referendum to pass. The board finalized its budget for next year. I don't think there's major surprises in that. Also the reduction in our agenda. Sure. Question? I missed this.
Just going to be paid.
Yeah.
All right, which brings us to the third item, the future budget considerations, the out years. For years, I'll just editorially say facts. For years, our annual increases have been less than the CPIs. But the operational budget. And that's been great. But it's going to be
Yes, and Alan shared a list with us. Stacy and I met Monday this week and also discussed a list of potential things. Talked to the central office leadership team. I have not spoken to the building admin, but I think we had a good start on some things to discuss at future finance committee meetings and how they will impact the budget. Our list is, with a new set of eyes. We hired construction manager, which starts sometime in late June. And with Peter Anderson also looking very closely at CIP. We're getting a bunch of knowledge and information from Bill. And we have a big CIP for this year, and we're hoping to smooth that out for future years when we certainly have lots of needs. And so we're looking at where that falls, making sure we have the roofs of our remaining buildings in a good place, because we're coming up on those. It's amazing to think about Daniel Hands being 20 years old, replacing HVAC. Shortly behind that is typically a roof that 20 to 25 year life cycle, 30 years is an act. So that's within that frame. Peter, Bill, and I were gonna sit down on CIPs and bring that to Stacy. Contractual increases are certainly, we've seen that trend go up. We have the teacher's contract that will take effect for 2025 for September, August of 2025. We're in discussions and our deadline on that is November, so we against the deadline on that, we'll know where that stands, but it's certainly going to be replacing a 3-year contract with a more expensive. That's just been the trend. I don't see that changing by that point. So for a while there, we've seen less than 2% contracts turn to 3, and it's north of 3 in a lot of the contracts, especially certified contracts that include the costs of the teachers. We have 1 more year of expiring debt. That was on your list as well as contract services as well. But the expiring debt, so we'll have 367. So about 0.5%, which this year was about 1%. So that will not be as much of a reduction in our total budget ask. Have the moves to pay for it, and we have some money in CIP, but we may have to look at budgeting some money for that. Staffing 25-26, we're in the process of doing that stuff. These are just the major headlines, like I expected,
yeah.
maybe take a few here and there, been on future lists, future meeting agendas, but that is one where we'll see, say, a decrease in one area and then an increase in another. We may need less PE teachers. I just reckon, we may need more fifth grade teachers just based on how things work out. So we expect to see some changes on that. We know we're trending towards a fourth pre-K for a while. This is shared that. Yeah. We'll have another assistant principal in the administrative team, and then we are looking at a special education supervisor, because right now we have three. We have one at the elementary level, Ryerson Jeffrey. We have one between Brown and Polson, and we have one at the high school. And what Liz does is she provides additional assignments like outplacement work to kind of even that load on a year-by-year basis. But the way that we've been kind of trending towards needing more support in special ed leadership with that one. These are teacher leaders, so they're not administrative positions, but with the 4 buildings, it may be a situation to look at for special ed supervisors. I'm not sure how it's going to that. And it's a big piece for keeping us in compliance. They do a fantastic job. As you remember from the presentation about Art had shared that maybe at a point where we need to do fiber replacement for technology and increased Wi-Fi outside our buildings. We always get we frequently get asked about that from parents and students and teachers wanting to do more outside or away from the building. And there's some technology programs we have been able to think about because of those limitations we have. The reading waiver, is still out there, potential cost, typical operating budget. We've talked about this before, the fact that I think we've been very transparent, and when we budget year by year, that there are items that we fund one time and then we don't fund the next year. And a good example is when we started this budget process off, we did not fund a curriculum weighting person that was moved out of a teaching position, was put into the budget at about a $90,000 cost. So that came off this budget right now. That was our intention with companion forms, the bridge furniture, things like that would have come off next year's budget or would have been repurposed to other things that have been transferred in. But when those are cut, we're then looking at adding potentially the next version of that, for things that happen or come up in the normal course of business. We need to replicate our STEAM program for another building. So Mr. Ginsburg's program he's presented to the board is for 4 and 5. Our intention is that it would stay for 4 and 5, but we're going to have the equipment for another building. Not a huge dollar item, but it's certainly something that's on our list. We don't want to lose sight about that. And then also, the consumables, put that on our list. That was what Stacy and I came up with, Gail, and I know you had some additional ones.
Well, I'd have to check my notes. I think we covered many.
I think we did. I could have started. Saw that.
Yeah. So this is your cue to talk about the question.
I've got your email. You want me to go through again?
Yeah.
One thing is possible transportation savings
Yeah.
in the school. I don't know if that's something.
Yes, we're looking at that now. I'm not sure that we anticipate, but we're hoping to. We may be able to shorten the window because right now elementary school start at 8:50, which is on the later end. We would certainly aim to start them sooner than that. There's one less bus it's not a full bus run because, typically now a bus does the high school and then they either do Polson or Brown. Right, because couldn't do both, they start too close in time for it together, and then they do an elementary. So each bus is typically three different, we still would have three different runs because of the time. So the real savings, and I'm not advocating for this, I think that that's a different, educational discussion, which I think should lead the way on this, but the real savings would be if we go ever 1 to 2 runs. So putting high school, middle school in the same run, that's where you can save money on transportation. However, I think there should be an educational discussion, not transportation discussion. Wow.
How long is our contract with Durham Line? When did it expire? Do you remember? Don't know off the top of my head. It's a very good, they're a great company, it's a great contract.
I'm guessing we're in year 2 or 3 of that, and I think that's a good place to be in, because I think if we were coming up now,
There's be some right. Okay, thank you, Brad. I wondered about that. And then, which I know we also do a fantastic job with locking in fuel, natural gas, cost, efficient cost, of experts to do that. I would just say natural gas is still like near lows, so near lows. If we can lock in any utility about the global or fuel related costs and how I think it's, I don't know how long this contract's running, how far out did they purchase, but that could provide savings for next year.
we typically by this point have locked in next year. You're right in terms of what we are seeing from the experts, as well, you being one of the experts, but we're seeing that too, because they're expecting a warmer summer, so that could end up spiking some costs at that point, but they recommend it to lock in at this point. Fuel
It's not to do something on those things. Something to try. Oh, yeah, thank you. Is there any impact from the new Charles contract for next year?
We think we're within the target of where we anticipated being, so no, I don't think there's major savings. There's not additional costs are worked on that from pretty much the board's approval in December. Sorry that. How would you like this? How would you like us to proceed in terms of going forward? Are there certain ones you want us to work on to be able to speak to more in depth at future finance meetings, or?
First of all, I shouldn't jinx that with the right. I guess we should have put it around the voice, but I guess my approach would be top down in the sense of looking at contractual obligations and then trusting the judgment to really find savings on a case by case basis. And so this same for contracts and read the waiver. Yeah. Well, once the others never happened. So that's all spreadsheet.
Individual comments of Board of Finance Selectmen members had also indicated kind of a reading waiver being like a one-time purchase that they purchased. So I think if we were in that position, we'd want to have conversations. We would try to see if that's something they want a one-time purchase for us. Operating costs. If there would be ongoing operating costs going forward, but we're not at that point yet. We till 2025 and we still hopeful, for number of different avenues. One being political avenue through the legislature, which does not seem like there's going to be anything that happens this session, and then our, you know, other.
It's gonna be a challenge, we just want to cover our space so we can do it. Continue that we maintain also. So do we have anybody online?
One person. If you're online and would like to speak, please use the raise your hand function. It's Diane, she not raise her.
She'd ask a question, I couldn't answer. Thank you. Ask you. All right, well, since that's the case, let's go ahead and adjourn this meeting at 5:59. Thank you very much. Thank you.